So in this video, I want to talk about my story and my come up and kind of what I've done so far the last 2 years and 10 months since I started my first agency and kind of how I got here in the first place. I'm 22 right now, for the ones that don't know, and I started my first agency in September 2022. That was a long way of how I got there because in school, I was super lazy. I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life. I was very uncertain about the direction that I would get into in the future. I didn't know what career I wanted to pick. I didn't know what job I wanted to work, or I was just genuinely very lost, very lazy, and didn't know what I'm gonna do with my life. And I think a lot of people at the age of 18 find themselves in that situation. A bit later, I graduated. So that was when I was 18. I think that was in 2021. And when I graduated school, I still didn't know what I wanted to do. My parents told me that I should go ahead and apply for different universities to go ahead and study. Although I did that and I followed their advice, I never really wanted to do it. And partly that was because I literally didn't find anything that I just found interesting. I didn't find it. I couldn't find a university and a topic of study that genuinely interested me, that I genuinely wanted to do. Because of that, I was very unmotivated. So over the couple of months after that, I did my thing a bit. I was playing a lot of video games back in the days. I was pretty lazy, and in school, I was also playing a lot of video games. I had days where I was playing video games for 10 hours, 12 hours straight, without taking a pause or a break at all. That's what I did mostly in school. I also never really studied in school. I wasn't motivated. So you can kind of get the sense of the type of person that I was back then. Unmotivated, addicted to video games, addicted to bad foods, sugary foods, and all of that good stuff. Never really worked out much. I was playing football when I was younger, but I stopped doing that a bit of time after as well. And that was kind of my come up. Now, I graduated school with 18. And originally, I had planned that when I finish school, I'm gonna go ahead and work and travel for a year. Because it's always been my dream to just travel as many countries as possible and just, go places and see the world. And that was kind of my goal. But the problem with that was during COVID. I graduated school in 2021. It was very hard to travel alone as an 18-year-old who doesn't really know much about the world. Because of that, I stayed at home for a year. And during that year, in the beginning, as I said, I was playing video games. I was playing a lot of Fortnite and League of Legends back then. That actually, which I didn't think would happen, but that actually got boring after a couple of months. And so because of that, I had to find something else that I'm gonna do and spend my time doing. And I found cryptocurrency because when I was 18 or 19, I started getting into crypto. I started trading NFTs, started doing that more. And I made 20,000 in profit within 2 weeks. Now, bear in mind, this was during a point in time where I literally had, I think, around about $4,000 to my name, meaning I made 4 or 5 times my net worth within that time frame. I lost all the money after again, a couple of weeks after, because, I was stupid back then. I didn't really know what I was going to do with the money. I tried to reinvest it to make more of it. I was kind of greedy. That kind of pushed me into the direction of wanting to make money myself and on my own. I just didn't really want to study. I didn't want to work a job, and I just made 20K profit within 2 weeks of work as an 18, 19-year-old that basically knows nothing. And so I was like, okay, there's probably other ways to make money as well. And so that's exactly what I went ahead and tried to pursue. Over the summer, which this was summer 2022, I was working as a lifeguard by the pool, which was, full-time. I was working 2 different jobs there, both for minimum wage. And I was doing that. And whilst I was doing that, because, I was just sitting there staring at the pool, I didn't really have much to do. Whilst I was doing that, I was listening to podcasts and audiobooks, and I was watching videos, and I was reading and just educating myself. And as pretty much everybody, I read Atomic Habits, and I came across a couple of business gurus online on YouTube. They were pushing different business models. They were pushing e-commerce, they were pushing agency, they were pushing crypto, and all of that good stuff. And I found my way into one of those funnels. Right, I started watching videos about how to build an agency, and I was pretty bought in. I thought I had found the thing that's going to skyrocket me to insane riches. And funny enough, although it didn't happen as fast as I thought it would, I'm at this point in time making considerable amounts of money for my age. Now, I'm not someone to count age in that equation because I genuinely believe if you're 21 or above, age actually literally doesn't matter at all, because everybody can have the same skill set and, it doesn't matter much. But I kind of found my way here And I did it in a way that I didn't think would happen. And it's an interesting thing because when you're starting out with your business, you have all of these ideas of what building that business is going to look like, of how you're going to do things and how you're going to handle everything. And although some of those may be true, most of them just aren't. So I came into that funnel and I investigated building an agency a lot. From there, in September 2022, I purchased my first course on how to start an agency. I paid 1.5K for it and my mom paid for it. So she actually lended me the money to buy that course. I bought it. Then I put a lot of time into learning. I was watching that course like every video. I was watching it twice. I was taking notes. I was trying my very best to just take in all the information because back then investing 1.5K to me seemed like a lot of money. You know, it took a couple months, like 2, 3, 4 months. But I started closing clients. I started a real estate marketing agency, meaning I was working with real estate agents in the States and I was providing Facebook ads and qualification services as a service to them, meaning I was setting appointments for the agency. It's so sweet. That was just a kid taking a picture of the car. That was what I started. And my first ever client, I closed him for like $600. My second ever client, I closed for $1,500. Mind you, that's all upfront. That's not like, you know, something that I got from a rev share. That's upfront payments. And then the third one, I think it was like $300. It really wasn't high ticket at all. You know, I did that for a bit and I made some money doing it. I delivered the service. I wasn't particularly great at what I was doing, but it was fine. Now, this was during a time where my mom, because I was living with my mom back then, saw that I was, you know, very invested into this business thing and I was trying harder and I was working more on the business than I was actually studying. Because at the same time of me starting my agency, I actually started studying. So I was studying. I had a job at a consulting company, which I was working like 10 to 15 hours a week in, and I had my business. So I had these three things going at the same time. I also at that time tried to get into the gym. So I was doing a lot of stuff at the same time. During that time, I, in my head, made the decision, I don't want to continue studying. I want to build my own business. I want to pursue this. I want to do this full time and I want to put my everything into it. Even though my mom and my dad and pretty much everybody in my family and around me didn't necessarily like that idea, I still decided to do it. And I dropped out of uni and I pursued business full time. Now, during that time, I met two business partners, or two people that would be my business partners. We started a new business, which was a consulting agency, in the beginning focused on real estate as well. And then, you know, having a broader focus. We started that. I closed down the agency that I had. I stopped doing that. I started focusing literally everything I had onto that one agency. And we scaled it from $0 to $60,000 a month in cash profit within about 7 weeks. Mind you, this is not my personal profit. This was cash profit. This isn't revenue. This isn't like contractual deal size or anything like that. This was actual cash profit, but it was the business profit and not necessarily my own profit or my own take home. We scaled that over the summer. This was now 2023, so summer 2023. We built that, we scaled that. I again was out of uni. I actually, funny enough, I just am remembering this. I funny enough wrote an email to my boss about the fact that I'm gonna quit my job whilst I was sitting at the airport going to Dubai. As anyone at that age, my dream travel destination was Dubai. It's not anymore, but back then it was like that. And so I was literally sitting at the airport about to go to Dubai because at that point we were already making like 30, 40K. And I was writing that email to quit my job. I quit uni, I quit my job. That was in the beginning of 2023 and I focused on that business. And over the summer of 2023, as I said, we built and scaled that business more. We traveled a lot. We went to like Bucharest for 10 days where we stayed there, we logged in, we had a personal trainer there as well. We went to Dubai for a bit, which for me, that was like a completely different world. I need you to understand one thing here. I come from a very small town near Munich. It's like 1.5 hours from Munich by car. So it's, you know, further away. I never, like, the height of my feelings, for example, if we take cars as a reference, the height of my feelings was when I saw a BMW 3 Series. Not an M3, not an M3 competition, just a 3 Series. For me, that was a really good car and the successful people in my town drove a 3 Series. It's pretty interesting to see because I come from this small town and suddenly the business started making money. And then I go to Dubai and I see all of this crazy stuff or this crazy money. It really shifted the way I saw money and the way I saw business and the way I saw the world. Although I don't like to buy that much anymore for a multitude of reasons, it gave me a huge shift in beliefs and a huge shift in mindset. So over the summer, as I said, we traveled. I also went to Paris and this was actually the first time that I went to like a nice Esse restaurant, which was in Paris, which was a restaurant that was on the Trocadero, which is next to the Eiffel Tower. I don't recall what the name of the restaurant was, but that was a really great experience. And I actually invited my family, who I was with, to that dinner. And that was just such a cool feeling, paying for that dinner and being like in a really nice establishment and restaurant. So I went to Paris. I also went to London, for example, which was the first time that I ever sat in a Rolls Royce, which was a really cool experience. I just growing up always liked cars. Like I always enjoyed cars. I liked the way they looked. I don't know. It's just, it's a man's toy essentially. And then all of a sudden, I was sitting in these cars. And at this point in time, I've driven multiple of them. I'm sitting in a pretty cool car right now. This is, by the way, just for reference and just for clarity, this is not my car yet, but it's a friend's car and I wanted to record this quick video. That's why I'm sitting in this car. My point being, I've now driven a lot of these cars. I've now had these experiences and I still like them and it's still fucking cool. But it's just a really cool feeling knowing where I kind of came from, even though I didn't come from a broke family. Just so you get some reference to this, I grew up in a very normal middle-class family. My parents are very grounded and they're not materialistic at all. They don't really care about any of this stuff at all. And I grew up in a solid, good environment, in a very normal middle-class family. We never had to worry much about having food on the table or a roof over our head. Although there were some times where we had financial struggles because my parents divorced. It was never a thing of we didn't have food or we didn't have a roof over our head. So I'll be eternally grateful for that. And I also actually believe that that is like one of the best situations that I could have grown up in, for the simple reason that because I grew up in this situation, I had enough to have all opportunities in the world, but at the same time, I didn't have too much so that, I don't know, I feel bad about my accomplishments or, I go crazy like a lot of rich kids do. And I get it, but that's a topic for another day. I grew that business with my business partners over the summer. By the way, that business was super easy, clean, streamlined. We literally had the entire business running off one single spreadsheet, which is where we tracked our lead flow, one sales process, and one way of getting leads. And we had a delivery that was super simple as well. So it was a very simple business and super high margins. We did like 60K profit. It essentially was like 65K revenue. The problem with this business was that I didn't necessarily like the direction that my business partners were heading into. And there was some misalignments between my business partners and myself. And so because of that, I decided to drop out of the business. And again, I had never done something like that before, so I didn't really know what to do. I also didn't ask for any payout or anything, which in retrospect probably wasn't the smartest move to make. I got out of the business and I'm grateful that I did, because then I started my own thing back up again. Then started a coaching business as well as an agency at the same time. It was kind of a combination of the two. And I scaled that from 0 to 15,000 a month. That's cash. Again, I'm never referring to like contractual or anything like that. I got it to 15K within like 1.5 to 2 weeks. And over that summer, I was living life. I met a good friend of mine, Dane, for the first time. We went to Belgrade for his birthday, where I met 30 other very successful entrepreneurs as well at an event. I went to Greece afterwards with a couple of buddies and we had a really sick villa and, it was great experiences. And that was now 2024. And mid-2024 in summer, I then decided to partner up with my business partner. We essentially ventured our businesses together. We were running an agency and we also had a consulting. We scaled that pretty quickly. We went from 0 to about 40K. In like 2 months, we reached $1 million run rate very quickly. And we did that. That's again, cash collected, not contractual. We ran that business until the end of the year. Same thing, misalignments between him and myself. We then, dipped the business. We essentially both got out of the business. We both had to start back up from 0. And this brings us to the beginning of this year, January 2025. I was in a situation where I actually moved into my own apartment now. I had running costs. I had bills I had to pay. I was in January 2025. I was at ground zero again. Why? Because the last business that we had, which still did very good in profits, we scaled to like 45K cash profit within like, again, 2 months, roundabout, something like that. So we were doing well. The problem was that we took all of that money, and I'm saying every single cent. We took it, put it back into the business to grow it long term. Then we parted ways. The money was gone. The business was gone. And that was the situation that I was left in the beginning of the year. And so I was in a very stressful situation. I decided to not bitch about it. I decided to not complain about it. I decided that I'm gonna pick things back up, get back to it, and get shit done. And that's exactly what I did. I scaled my new agency or my new business from 0 to, I think it was 14,500 roundabout in cash collected within about 2.5 weeks. And now I'm doing well. I am making some solid money, you could say. You know, I'm building the business that I always wanted to run. I have great clients. Since the beginning of the year, I only accepted the best of the best clients. I made the conscious decision that I'm not going to accept a single client that I'm not completely sure will absolutely crush it. I'm only working with the best of the best clients. I have great client results. My clients are incredibly happy working with me. I run a business that I'm grateful for every single day. My clients are seeing amazing results. I've literally transformed some people's lives completely this year so far. I have great agency clients. I have great one-on-one clients that I'm working with to scale their agency. I'm making money, running a business that I'm proud of and grateful for, and I'm going to continue to go into a lot of different directions from here. And this can be literally like anything. I'm just looking forward to the next few years because they're not only going to be very successful, they're also going to be just, you know, very interesting and enjoyable. That was what I did business-wise so far. I literally grew up in like a small town outside of Munich. I've never really seen proper like wealth or a lot of money before. I kind of got into business on accident and then I grew it. And also one thing I want to emphasize on here, like I just didn't care. Honestly, I didn't care what people were saying. People are always saying like, yeah, people are going to judge you, but you have to just not care about it. Like I genuinely don't care. I don't know why, but I just didn't care. I didn't care about the risk as well. There were times where I invested 10,000 into a coaching when I literally had 4,000 in my bank account because I was taking the risks constantly and working at it constantly. And because I literally just didn't care, I think that's why I ended up here in the first place. Again, I don't have a university degree. I didn't finish college. I dropped out like 3 months in. I basically only worked like a couple of jobs for a bit of time and didn't really do that for long. I, by all means, grew up being average. Like I was average in any single way possible. Even though I grew up like that, I still made it happen. And even though I was lazy, and even though I still am lazy from time to time today as well, I still made it here. And again, I'm going to continue to have a lot of success from here because I'm only going to continue to improve. I'm only going to continue to push more. I'm only going to continue to be better. It's just an incredibly fulfilling journey that I've been on so far. And I wanted to shoot this video because for a multitude of reasons. First of all, obviously my social media makes me money and I won't pretend it doesn't. But I also just wanted to inspire you guys and show you what's possible if you're dedicated, willing to take the risks, work hard, and if you're consistent. And if you just genuinely do what you want to do with your life. Like keep in mind, it's your life. You can do literally whatever the fuck you want to do. And no one should be able to say anything about it. You can do whatever you want with your life. And you don't have to listen to what other people are saying you should be doing. Because if you genuinely want something and you know that that's the thing that you care about most, just go do it. Do it, try it, fail. And I failed a lot. I've had multiple different businesses. Do you know how it feels to have 2 businesses at $1 million a year run rate and both of them you dropped out because of misalignments with the business partners and the businesses ceased to exist and you had to start all over again and had a lot of financial pressure on you? And the thing is, like, I'm no different than you. I'm not that hardworking. I'm not that smart. I'm not exceptional in any way. I'm a very normal guy. I'm a very normal dude. I'm not different by any means. And I still made it here. And I make solid amounts of money. I'm able to travel wherever I want, whenever I want. And by the way, again, this is not for me to flex. I'm not flexing on you. I want to show you that it's actually not as hard as you think it is. It's not that deep, bro. It's actually not that deep. And not only am I making good money myself, I also have a lot of friends that are self-made and are making good money themselves. And none of them are these crazy entrepreneurs that are, you know, focused and locked in 24/7 every day. Although some of them are, these guys have insane success. Like I have a friend who built a software company from 0 to $40 million valuation within 6 months. He's next level dedicated. But you know, I'm not that dedicated yet. He's that dedicated. But I have other friends as well that aren't as dedicated either. And they're still making good money and very much above average money. And through that, they, as well as myself, we can travel whenever we want to, wherever we want to. We might not yet be able to go on a private jet, but you know, we're doing good. We're doing well. And the thing is, it's not that hard. It is actually not that hard because I know how it feels. Trust me. I was in a situation where I didn't have money at all and I wasn't making money. I was in a situation where everybody in their videos trying to motivate me was telling me that it's not that hard and anyone can do it and it's just a matter of time and you just gotta put in the time and the reps and you gotta put the work in and you gotta take the risk. Like people were telling me that. Trust me. People were telling me that and I was like, sure, bro. For sure. Makes sense. But I now did it and I'm running the business. At the same time, there's a lot of trials and tribulations that come with it. I am stressed. I still take risks. I still have to get things done. And I still have problems, but it's just different problems. And that's the thing. I just like this. I like running a business. I like being an entrepreneur. I find it fulfilling. I'm sweating recording this video right now. I actually like it. I don't mind going through pain to get to where I want to be. I just genuinely want this to be a message to you. If you're watching this right now, it is not as hard as you think it is. You just have to put the work in. You have to try your very best every single day. You have to get better, not listen to the people around you, and only listen to people that have been where you want to be or have brought someone to where you want to be. Let this video be a reminder to you that anything you want in your life you can have. It's just a question of whether you're willing to pay the price for it or not. Let my story be a reminder that no matter where you come from, no matter the situation you grew up in, no matter how much money you have right now, no matter your knowledge, no matter your skills, no matter your network, no matter anything, you can do anything you want with your life if you just decide to. And you can change your life in a split second just by making the decision that you're going to do exactly that. I hope that this was inspirational to you. I hope this gave you some more insight into who I am and how I even got here in the first place. I hope that you found value in the video as well. I hope that it motivated you. If you do want to learn more about exactly how I scale other people's agencies with them one-on-one directly and what all of that would look like, if you want to apply to work with me one-on-one right now, just click the first link in the comment section down below right now, fill out the form, and you'll be able to book a call and speak with me directly one-on-one. It's not going to be like a high pressure sales call or anything like that. I just want to see where you're at with things, what you're currently doing, and whether, we can collaborate and work together or whether we can't do that. So I would recommend you book that call right now and I'll speak to you very soon. But you don't have to. If this video inspired you, if it was valuable to you, if you liked watching this video, just give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and comment if you have any questions. You can also reach out to me on Instagram. I don't really care. You don't need to book a call. If you want to book a call and learn more about how we can scale your agency together, book it right now. And if not, that's perfectly fine as well. That's it. I'll go ahead and grab some apple juice with my friend right now, and I'll see you in the next video.